Diana said, I had to go in, and there are a lot of lesions on my brain. I got a lot of dark spots. And the funny part was, the doctor, he said, "Have you ever had a concussion?" I said, "Yeah." He goes, "When?" I go, "Well, which time?" And he goes,
Yeah.
"You got a lot of spots." And, I don't know what my future holds. I mean, I'm okay, right? I'm real nice and shiny all the time, right, Diana?
Right.
But
She's got the
So
face.
good.
Right.
So fun.
Talked about this, we're also huge advocates in medical cannabis. So my husband has been a part of the medical cannabis world for a while. It's funny.
She's narking you out, Ron.
Ah!
Everybody knows.
But no, there's a lot of
the doctors actually wanted me on, and it's like I do CBD. I don't know if I'm sure you're familiar with CBD is.
Yeah.
And it's just reduces a lot of inflammation, and it's been a lifesaver, especially for our son, hasn't it, Diana?
Yeah. Well, I think I talked with you last time about this, Jake, or did I? Our oldest son has autism. Yeah. So.
And that helps.
Listen, our son used to hit himself. He used to bite himself. He used to rip his flesh when he would have a meltdown. And this is him as a little boy. And, for the longest time, I was trying to be holistic and do organic stuff. That didn't work. And then I sort of had to give in because I just didn't know what else. We didn't know what else to do. And so we were trying different forms of pharmaceutical medications, which I won't get into all that. But the problem was, as he got older, he would just say, "Mom, it just." I guess it left him with a feeling underwater, so to speak.
The medications did.
The medications did, But when I started looking into the research on medical cannabis, because we were looking for answers for Ron, I'm like, oh my gosh, this helps a wide spectrum of people, and so gosh, we've been really part of that whole medical cannabis world for a very long time. In the beginning, we had to keep it a secret because this is before California, went recreational and I think at the time it was medical, and then Colorado was just on the verge of becoming both recreational
Back
and
in
medical.
like 07, 08.
Yeah, and so we were a little nervous because Ron's a former police officer. My family, were someone in the limelight, and we didn't know how people were going to interpret us. But I mean, we really did our due diligence to interact with scientists and doctors that were on the forefront of understanding the research on cannabis, particularly coming out of Israel. And then I had a wonderful conversation with Frank Shamrock, because Frank Shamrock is a huge activist for medical cannabis. And he says, do you have any idea how many former UFC, former mixed martial artists are on cannabis because they have injuries that, we don't hear about in the news. And they see what's happening in the NFL. Well, they don't want that,
Right.
Diana, about when the heart issue happened with me, the doctor, he's like, whatever medications I want you to stop. And then I said, well, I take, CBD, I take tincture, the oil. He goes, no, I want you to keep doing that.
Yeah, he wanted him off the vitamins, but he wanted him to continue taking them.
Give me the number for that doctor.
Right, where is this doctor? I don't know. And you guys have done the research in this, and I don't know all the specific names and facts, but there is actually it's inactive THC in our systems. It's down in the kind of by the cortex where your spine and everything connects. And it stays inactive until your body is introduced to that from the outside, and then it kicks in.
Where'd you read this? That's interesting.
I learned it from a nurse.
From a nurse, there you go.
From a nurse. So
it's that we share in common with cannabis, and that's why it's almost like two computers talking, biological computers talking to each other, and they recognize each other. Like, hey, I recognize that. Come on.
Yeah. And it actually, I mean, like I said, you said you've done your research, and they did a lot of work in Israel. I've seen a lot of documentaries. There was a little girl who had seizures from the day that she was born and had no type of life until she started taking the oil. And now she can actually live a normal childhood without seizures.
What is this stuff about Israel? I hadn't heard anything about Israel and cannabis. I don't know.
So there's for all of you watching this, well, we're on cannabis. I love this
topic.
So there's a great documentary series called Weeds from CNN's with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. And, when he first did the very first episode, people were like, oh my God, has he lost his mind? But he was able to show, he talked with, believe it or not, a doctor that we knew named Dr. Alan Shackelford, who, by the way, worked on the Sensei. That's a whole other story. But he had been going to Israel for some time, and he was the first doctor that allowed for a child. He literally put his career on the line to allow for a child to take cannabis. No other doctor wanted to touch that.
Yeah.
But they'll put them on opioids, no problem.
Right, exactly. They put them on, but it worked. But kudos to her dad, because when he was a military man overseas, and so he saw the research coming out of Israel, because he was desperate, because his daughter Charlotte was having I think around 300 seizures a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a week. And, she was coming near death. And so he said, maybe it's the oil we need to try. And so that's how he ended up somehow connecting with Dr. Alan Shackelford and these brothers that actually grow in Colorado. The rest is history. I mean, a lot of families have left their home, have left other states to go live in Colorado just so their family members could have access to medical cannabis. And we learned from different conventions that we've gone to about this, that there are now 90 strains of cannabis that they didn't know. So it's not just THC, it's the THCA, there's CBD, there's all kinds. And but CBD is most, seems to be on everybody's mind right now because of the healing effects of it.
It's funny. Some people say it's a placebo, and look, our son doesn't even know what the word placebo means, and it's helping him. And
I'm all for it. I don't have. I mean, they're talking about at least doing what is it, medical in Utah here, which I'm hoping they do. Because there's so many people that they're put in a position where it's right next door. All they got to do is go to Colorado, but then now you're a felon if you bring it back. So it's like just making it for people that do need it.
Well, they've had. I mean, it's been on the news for going on a couple of years now because people have been trying to get this passed. I mean, there's people that are paraplegics, cerebral palsy, PTSD. I mean, you name it. These are normal people. They have kids, they have wives or husbands, and they're just trying to live their life, and they want something other than prescription pills because we have seen what prescription pills can do. But when the whole thing that has been mocked up and created about cannabis and medical marijuana and weed in general just over the years, it's slowly starting to take the turn where people, especially the older generations, are going, oh, wait a minute.
It's not all dreadlocks and tie-dye t-shirts.
Yeah. Now that's on board, is on an advisory board for cannabis. That's a good thing. This is our kumbaya moment for, right? Bipartisan issue right now that's actually bringing Democrats and Republicans together, by the way. So I'm happy because I'm, like I said, I've seen what it's done for our family, and I know it could probably help a lot of other families.
Well, and I'm very careful too, like young people that want to just do it because it's they think it's just a fun thing to do. I'm very honest with them. I'm like, look, honestly, if you don't medically need it, I would recommend you at least wait until your mid-20s and then go do whatever you want. At least your brain is fully developed at that point. You're not going to mess yourself up.
Yeah, and that's very important, by the way. That's a huge distinction because I do, like on a recreational level, I would never want my son to participate on it because his brain is still developing. Mm-hmm. But then there are cases where children who are like Charlotte Figge's her last name, that's right, who really need it for medical reasons. And it's really what people don't realize is for the CBD to work, it has to have a little bit of THC to activate it. It all kind of works together. As this almost like this kind of biological propriety type of blend to really have the healing benefits that it gives all of us.
I tried the massage oil, the cannabis massage oil. It actually was really nice. It helped a lot. It just kind of like your body got this whole. It was just a different level of relaxation. Yeah. So I'm all for it. So we've all agreed. I'm gonna put a big leaf in the background
just
here.
In the background, so we know.
Okay, so real quick, if we have any questions. Okay, let's get to the questions
from,
quick, and then we'll let these guys go.
He just asks, do you do the CBD oil or the cream, Ron?
I do the tincture. I do the tincture, and then we have like massage cream and like pain. What is it like for aches and pains, right, Diana?
Oh yeah.
And the stuff's awesome. I've given it to some other fellow martial artists who were like stunned by it. In fact, it does release inflammation. I have a student who I gave some to in a tincture, and he grabbed something, started to read it. He goes, "Oh my God, I'm not wearing my glasses." And I said, "What?" He goes, "I wear glasses normally. I don't know." But he swears it made a difference when he started to read. So maybe there's inflammation in his eyes, brain, I don't know what. But he said there was a noticeable difference when he was taking the tincture.
That's awesome. And now there's so many options too. I mean, it used to be like, all right, well, you got to inhale burnt plant matter. And now with all of the stuff that they've done, there's so many great ways. And it's like, you don't want to get a buzz, then don't get a buzz. Just do something to relax your body and deal with that inflammation. Because I swear, even for martial artists, like, we don't get a break. You're always doing something. You're always breaking your body, and you don't have enough time to recoup. And it just, I'm not endorsing it. But for medical reasons, yes.
Look, it's medicine. That's what I look at it as. It is a real medicine. Where people always doubted it before.
6,000 years.
I grew up thinking it was the villainous drug. It was the gateway drug. It was, the reefer madness. No, not that bad reefer madness, but I mean,
it's a funny movie though.
When I grew up, it just was this outlawed thing.
Yeah.
And it was, and it's not that. It's not that.
No. What is up, guys? Did you enjoy that video? I know you did. If you want to watch the full version, check the descriptions box below. There will be a link to the full episode of the Martial Media Podcast. And of course, as always, hit subscribe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace out.